Welcome to the channel. Today what I'm going to show you is how to prep various items for Amazon FBA. I am an Amazon FBA seller. I have been selling on the platform for 3 years. I sell all sorts of items such as fragile items, items in glass, items in plastic, multi-packs, bundles, and I'm going to show you how I prep where I have 0 issues. I also have a return or broken rate of less than 0.2%. So maybe 2 out of 1,000 will have damages due to breakage. And my return rate is very, very low as well. So high customer satisfaction, these are some of the tips. So we're going to be covering how to pack fragile items, how to pack single items. So here's my fragile. Here's a glass bottle. Here's another glass bottle. How to pack these single items, different sizes. How to pack a multi-pack. So these are the labels I use when I'm printing my expiration dates and FNSKU labels, barcode labels. But let's say I wanted to sell 2 of these together. I wouldn't do that, but this is a product I'll show you how to do a multi-pack bundling of that. So a lot of supplies you're gonna need in order to pull this off, or you're gonna need some bubble wrap, and I have some big bubble, 1/2-inch bubble, and then I have what you typically see, which is like the smaller bubbles. Okay, this is 2 feet of that. What you need to do also is you're going to need plenty of labels. So Amazon has an inventory system, and when they receive your item, they scan a label. Now you need to make these labels and attach them to your products prior to sending them to Amazon FBA. 99.9% of your items will need your own custom label. A lot of new sellers don't really understand this, and this is very important. You'll need to generate your labels either through a program that's really easy to use like Inventory Lab, and there's a link in the description, or you can go to Seller Central, or when you're creating your shipping plan and print the labels out. Seller Central is a little bit, tough to use for some people, especially new people. Inventory Lab is a really great program for organizing your FBA shipments, and I use it, and I've been using it for years. So these are the types of labels you're going to print out. I'll show you how to apply them. When you sell items that expire at some point, like these antacid shoes, when this is really good for Anyways, I'm not going to talk about the products, but if you're packing this has an expiration date. Now, this is a fragile item, it's glass, and I'm going to use a lot of bubble wrap. What's going to happen with that, and I'm going to show you shortly, is you won't be able to see this expiration date anymore. And Amazon wants to see that on stuff that expires. Now, if you use Inventory Lab, you can see on this ticket, the FNSKU label, you have the option to show your expiration date on there, and that's great. So that's an all-in-one. That's great. That avoids the need to add a second label and incur additional work. However, if you're not using Inventory Lab and you don't have the skill set to add the expiration date to the FNSKU label properly, you'll need to actually use your printer to print these off. Of course, you'll want to change it for the expiration date of the product that you're sending in, of course. But what you're going to want to do is, when this is encased in bubble wrap and a poly bag, and again, I'm going to show you shortly, you're going to need to apply your expiration date to the outside of the package. So one of the programs, or one of the pieces of equipment that are essential when you're doing Amazon FBA is a thermal printer. Now, you can print out sheets of labels on a laser printer, but I recommend, for flexibility reasons, to buy a thermal printer, and they're so cheap nowadays. This is the Label Writer 620. Now, it's important to get a thermal printer that can print at 300 DPI. That's 300 DPI minimum. And this Label Writer can do it, as well as the Dymo. What I love about the Label Writer, there are a few detractions, but I'm going to get to that soon. What I like about this is it's very inexpensive, and it can use any type of thermal labels, non-proprietary. So if you do choose a Dymo, they require you to use Dymo labels most of the time. And those can cost, if you're applying these to every product, 2, 3, 400% more than a similar label from a company like Betchkey. And I'll put links in the description for the Dymo printer if you want to take a look at it, for this printer if you want to take a look or buy it, and for these labels. Now these labels, I even went to the company's website and got even a better deal, because I go through, you know, as an Amazon seller, if you're selling 10,000 units a month, you go through 10,000 labels at least. And if you have to print out your expiration dates as well, then you're printing out 20,000 labels a month. So you're going to go through these. You're going to want to go with the cheapest possible solution. I want to walk it back. Now, be very careful buying a thermal printer that prints below 300 DPI. The reason is when these products come to Amazon, they scan them in. And if the DPI is too low, sometimes Amazon can't scan your product in. I had that issue recently where I thought I could print out on my Rollo printer, which I use for UPS labels and, you know, my merchant fulfilled and my eBay sales and my website sales. I use the Rollo. But the problem with the Rollo is it doesn't print 300 DPI. So when I was printing out these FNSKU labels, the issue with that was that Amazon was saying 1 out of 100 items it couldn't scan. And then it was basically dinging my account health. You don't want that issue where they can't scan it, because eventually it's going to become a problem. You want to have it where 1 out of 1,000 or less has a problem scanning it, because sometimes these labels tear or what have you. So you can't always, you know, be 100% accurate when you're doing 10,000 units a month, right? Or 100,000 or 1,000,000 units a month. You know, 1 out of 1,000 is not that bad. But when you print at below 300 DPI, you're going to get closer to 1 of 100 being an issue, and that's a problem. So you need some supplies. We're really going to go through this. You're going to need whoa, the cord just fell out. You're going to need sold as set labels, and these can be found on Amazon pretty cheap. And you're going to need to apply these to whenever you're selling a 2-pack, or let's say we were bundling these together as a 1 unit for sale. Let's say we thought this was a good combination and we're bundling these together. When we send these to Amazon, and I'm going to show you how to do all of this just very soon. When we send these to Amazon, we're going to need one of these labels, and it could be any color really. I like these because they're big and they're easy to just peel off and apply, and they look a little nicer. I have little red ones, they're cheaper, but I kind of like the green for presentability. That's all preference. And then the last thing, or one of the other things that you'll need besides this awesome, you know, tape dispenser, that's awesome, okay, are poly bags. And you can get different sizes. This is essential if you're not shrink wrapping, to basically either take the product that you put in bubble wrap to basically enclose it in something, or to take your two things and bring them together in a quick, easy, efficient, strong way, okay? You're gonna need different size poly bags. And what I have here today are 3 different sizes. We have 6 different sizes. We also do shrink wrapping in the warehouse, but when we need to poly bag, we have 6 different sizes, but here I'm going to be working with 6x9, 8x10, and 9x12. And again, the links will be in my description below. So let's get started. Let's get started with talking about these individual products. Let's say you wanted to send this in. This is a product you're selling. Here's the barcode. Now, if this is a product where I wasn't worried covering up all the warning information or the product information, if it was a straight up barcode like here, where it's not going to matter if I cover it up, then I would just take my FNSKU label and apply it here. So I'd peel that off, okay, and apply it, okay? That is what I would do. I'm going to save that for later. And that would be ready to go. Amazon FBA, just send that in. It's already prepackaged. If you're not worried about the condition of the item, this plastic even getting a little scratch marks in it, then send it in as is. So if you're just selling video games, you don't necessarily care too much about you know, these aspects of the shrink wrap even getting dinged or whatever, just put that label on here, send it in. That's all you need to do to prep it. So like, for instance, You know, like this item, if this wording didn't matter and it was plastic, I would just put the label like right here, and I would actually probably apply it this way so that Amazon can read it. If you apply it this way and it's more curved, it's going to be a harder issue for the lasers to read it. So that's one way. That's your single item prepping. Now let's talk about a 2-pack. So this is a 2-pack or multi-pack is essentially defined by 2 or more of the exact same item. That's what a multi-pack is. So let's say we're going to sell this. What I want to do is I want to get a bag that's big enough for these, and I'm thinking it's going to be my 8 by 10. Okay, I had to check my thing, and let's try to put this in there. Okay, this doesn't really fit, but maybe I'll turn it around. Okay, that looks nice. And what I would do is I would roll it and then pull the tab and close it. Now, this is ready to go for FBA. However, I need to apply my label. And I would take this label. Let's say it's for this particular item, the 2-pack of the thermal printer labels, and I would apply it here. This would be closed because there's a glue strip here, and this is how you would prep. And there is one last step, is you would need to apply your sold as set label. So this is how I would prep this item, okay? You have your sold as set label, your FN SKU label, and your item securely in the poly bag, okay? So I'm gonna take these off because we're gonna reuse this bag because I didn't bring enough bags out here, okay? So that is how you do a multi-pack, okay? Let's take these out and let's talk about this item. Now, this is not a fragile item. It's completely plastic, but it's a nutritional supplement. And maybe I don't want to cover up the important text that's on this jar, right? So what I would probably do is I would get a bag that's about the size of this. Maybe it's the smaller bag. Sometimes it's good to get all different size bags because each bag has a different cost. The bigger the bag, the more costly it is. Now, this bag is too small for this item. So I can't turn this there. And then if I put it in like this, there's too much space. So you need to find bags that are the right size. Here, this 8 by 10 works well. What I would do is I would take this and I would just roll it and pull the glue tab, and it's almost set to go. The last thing that I need to do, of course, and you know, is apply the inventory tracking label that's specific to this product. Now, you see me using the same labels. Every product's gonna have a unique code. So you will need your inventory lab, and you're gonna need to print these out. And now this is ready to go. Now, one of the issues that I see here is I can't really read that expiration date. So besides this, I have the expiration date on this label. Now, again, if you don't have the ability or you haven't figured out how to get those expiration dates on your labels, well, here you go. Let's just say this expires here. And what I can now do is look for the barcode on the item. You want to cover those barcodes and put that there. So what I now have is an item that has my FN SKU label, has my expiration date, and always cover that UPC or barcode that was on the item. Amazon requires that because they're trying to, again, scan your item into inventory. And if they scan the UPC, then they're scanning the product and not your product. So the FN SKU label tells Amazon that this particular product is yours, okay? And so always when you're packaging, cover up that UPC, okay? Let's talk about another thing here. The bundle, you're bundling, right? So you've heard of bundling, you heard that it can be wildly profitable, and yes, it does increase your margins, and I'm gonna tell you why, all right? One, if you're providing a combination that customers really like on Amazon, like from your research, that's one, you create a new market, okay? It makes it easier for people to buy what they want, a bundle, okay? But secondly, Amazon has costs for fulfillment on individual items. So let's say you sell an item for $14.99. They might charge you $5 to fulfill that item. Let's say the other item is $14.99, and they might charge you $5 to fulfill that. So your fulfillment cost, let's say in this situation, is $10 selling these things separately, right? So if a customer A buys this, you pay $5, and if customer A buys this separately on a separate listing, you pay $5. So that is $10. The way multi-packs and bundles really work well is you combine these two items, okay? And in one listing, so the customer goes to the product page, they see these together, and what do? They basically say, hey, okay, I'll just buy that. I wanted both anyways. And how does Amazon charge you? Well, because the item's a little bit heavier, they might charge you $7 for the two items instead of $5 for one. But guess what? You just saved $3. That's $3 in your pocket. You can now decide, do I want to lower the price of this from, let's say, a total price of $30 to $28 to increase velocity and still make more money? Or do I want to keep it at $30, $29.99, $28.99, and increase my margins? So that's where the bundling and multi-packs really work out. So if you're a new seller, you just learned something. All right, so let's talk about that. So let's say we're gonna bundle these two items together, okay? Make it simple. So each item has a unique UPC code, okay? What you're gonna need to do is cover that. And the best way to cover that is just basically put the two products together before you put them in the bag, or when they're in the bag, move them around. So here we go. I'm gonna put these in. This is kind of a too big of a bag, so let me go with the small. Okay, and I got this in here. Okay, looks like it's gonna be the perfect size. So now I have my bundle in there, slide them in, and we're gonna finally close this. All right, let's take a look. I pulled the tab, I'm gonna blow this bag up, and here we go. Wow. So what you can see is I can see a little bit of the barcode, but this is your bundle pack that you're selling on Amazon. Now I'm gonna put my FN SKU label right here to cover up whatever's left of that barcode. And then what I'm gonna do is put my sold as sent label here. And now you have a completed bundle that is ready to ship to Amazon FBA. That's it, there you have it. So one last step that I might do, sometimes these glue strips, depending on the quality of bag, aren't that strong. And sometimes it's good to have a little tape dispenser here and seal the deal right there. Now don't put tape over your thermal labels, because from what I've heard, and ever since I heard this, I don't do that, is putting tape over the thermal label causes the thermal print to fade over time. So don't do that. So that product is ready to go. I know this is a good episode. You're learning a lot. We're gonna move quickly here, and now we have glass. So this is a small glass bottle. What I like to use for small glass bottles is small bubble, and we're gonna just take this small bubble, and don't be shy to use a lot of bubble because you don't want damage rates. I'm just gonna roll this up in the bubble. And bam, this is totally encased here. This will not get damaged, okay? And then I'm gonna take my medium bag and stuff it in there. Okay. And then just turn it. All right, it doesn't look pretty, for sure. You can try to get a bag that makes this look a little nicer, okay? But now this does not look pretty. When you have time, be a little bit more careful. But this thing is pretty indestructible. And so now I have a glass bottle that encapsulated in 2 feet of small bubble wrap. The expiration date is already on there, let's say, okay? And now all I need is my FN SKU label, okay? So you put that on there, and that is now ready for FBA, okay? Let's talk about a big glass jar, bigger, heavier glass jar. I like to use bigger bubble for this. I sell 2-pound glass jars. They're about 2.5 pounds when you include the product inside. And I use about 3 foot of large bubble on something like that. But basically the technique's the same. So, you get these rolls of bubble from a local paper company. You encapsulate the product. I would probably want to go another, turn around this product because I think 1 layer of bubble is not enough. And then get your bag and, get it in there. Okay, and that's ready to go. You close it up and put your labels on there, right? You need this, and because I can no longer see the expiration date on this product, you're gonna need your expiration date. So that's how you do that. there's one last product that I want to talk about is this. So we had talked earlier how if it's not collectible, if it doesn't really matter, just put the FNSKU label on it. But I want to just talk to you one last thing about this. What if it's a collectible video game? Somebody's, it's out of print and it's $200. You might want to do two things. You might actually want to first put this in a poly bag to protect it, and then secondly put it in a box. But what we're gonna say is maybe this is a $50 item, it's collectible still, but maybe it's not worth putting in a box. So what I would do is I'd get my poly bag, and maybe this medium is the right size, and you can just put the video game in there instead of marking up the label. And you could do this with books too. And here we go. So what I'm gonna do is seal that up, okay, and put my FNSKU label here. Now, of course, this doesn't expire, so it wouldn't have the expiration date, but that is ready to go. So these are the ways you would prep all these items for Amazon FBA. I hope this helped you. There is links in the description for all these products, not the actual products, but all the supplies and that you saw on the show. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. I answer within 24 to 48 hours, and oftentimes within a couple hours, because I am just waiting for your comments to flow through. Thanks again for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.